If I couldn't write, I don't think that I would be on this planet. I think that each one of us is put on this planet for a particular reason, and I think that writing is part of my purpose, part of my vocation. So if I wasn't writing, and I also wasn't an astronaut, and I also wasn't part of the Ninja Turtles, I don't know if I would exist or be able to exist. Hi, it's your friendly neighborhood poet, Ian Keteku, also known as Ian Keteku, also known as the Pomegranate Prince, also known as Black Batman, Bruce Wayne with the tan, pigmented Peter Parker, the darker Tony Stark, aka Ain't Nobody Got Time for That, aka Catch Me Outside If You Want To, aka Will I Am Not. The night we sold our value at half the value, the sun was out. Just had to see with its own overcooked eyes the most diabolical deal from time. But what about the polar bears? And what about the widow swippery cute button baby otters? Huh? What about them? Huh? I grew up in Calgary, was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. Being one of few black people in my high school was also a very, let's say, unique experience. You sort of figure out how to traverse and navigate through race relations and popularity and expectations. And being a writer in that climate also produces a kind of resistance to the world around you, as well as you embrace the world around you. So some of my writing might have influences of country music or the Calgary Stampede or the prairie atmosphere. There's a difference in the city. There's a difference in the cities between Calgary and Toronto being a writer, just in terms of how much writing is embraced in the various cities, but also who is talking about what. I think that race relations, especially in the arts, is a bigger issue here in Toronto. There's a lot more artists speaking about race relations, and there's a lot more diversity in the types of voices that are doing poetry or music or any sort of artistic form of expression here in Toronto. So you see a diversity of voices. The deal. Brokered by faith in the parts of ourselves we forgot to water, got us living. In delirium dungeons got us playing, hide and go seek with our light, asking ourselves, where do all the beautiful things go to die? When I came to Toronto, it was still called the T-Dot or the T.O. I love Toronto. What I love about Toronto is the hustle and the grind and the fact that when people put out work or when people are doing something, they put their whole heart into it, because that might be the last meal that they get for a very long time. So you see a lot of professionalism in Toronto. And being around a city that the world is now watching, I think is also fantastic. I remember Rob Ford, rest in peace. That was pretty intense. We have Aubrey Graham from the area. He's doing pretty well. We got the Raptors, they're doing all right. Toronto FC, they're doing good. And we got the Maple Leafs. We'll end that there. The lonely ride home. The quiet satisfaction of being alone on the bus. A more than likely down-tempo song, preferably about undeserving love, bounces pretty in your headphones. You look out the window and give in to the cinema of your mind. The biggest challenge that I have as a writer living in Toronto is honestly the TTC. Sometimes you gotta go somewhere and the thing is not reliable, right? You're sitting on the streetcar and the streetcar all of a sudden, boom, you get outside the streetcar, the driver has to change the track so you go this way instead of this way. Sometimes the streetcar driver is going the wrong way. Sometimes the subway stops. Ding, ding. We excuse everybody on the university line headed towards, there was a problem. You gotta get to gigs, you know what I mean? I gotta go and see these kids and show them what poetry is all about. We live in a world where language is the determining factor for how humanity moves forward. We see politicians, people in positions of authority using language to promote ideas of hate, intolerance, discrimination. I think that if your heart is in the right place and you are not speaking up or speaking out, then you are doing yourself and humanity a disservice. I think that everyone has a story. Every story is of value. And I think that especially for a lot of young people, it's important that we not only speak up and speak out, but listen to those voices that are speaking truth or speaking things that resonate with us. Because language and the ability and the power to speak or say something is the greatest power that we have as human beings. And until we can realize or actualize that power, other people and other forms and other energies will be using that power not for good, but for other less good ways. The lonely ride home, a quiet satisfaction of being alone on the bus, a more than likely down-tempo song, preferably about unrequited love, bounces pretty in your headphones. You look out the window and give in to the cinema of your mind. Dry, icy snow disciplines asphalt roads, clouds of ghost, porcelain, and white. Floating along rubber tire lovers, the bus screeches and whistles, roars and rumbles, a baritone choir during this storm. We, an aluminum dinosaur speeding along a purpose, eyes wide and headlight bright. You, the conductor of this large limousine, strolling chariot amongst the bowels of Athena, off to save something from something. Ghost bus, carrying the desires of phantoms, on patrol traveling to all the places our love temper tantrum. The driver never speaks, your understanding is beyond words. Your finger pulls the bell. He drops you off, never at home, never close enough to keep the illusion alive that he is the driver and you, a lonely passenger, taking the bus whilst everyone else is sleeping.